Hey, good afternoon, my lovelies. Always something. Right as I was coming on, the nice backlight fell. And I can't do it without my backlight, right? So, you guys, it has been utter chaos in my life. I've got half of the family in my house with testing positive for COVID, the roid. Yuck. Um, yeah, it's nasty. The Rona. The Rona. So I had it once, like I think a year and a half ago, just a really light case for a day. This is a pretty heavy case, and it's just no fun to see your family under the weather like that. And fingers crossed that I don't get it. Hey, Bex, nice to see you. As you might remember, if you've watched my last couple of videos, I stubbed my toe, something awful, on Friday. I did go to urgent care on Saturday. I went to my regular physician yesterday. I've been medically cleared, but man, it is crazy. I never take my health for granted, but every little thing in the world, I'm just very grateful to be able to move. I even did a yoga class last night. It's still injured pretty bad, but I did a modified yoga class. So I'm grateful for that. Hey, Sherry, nice to see you. Yeah, it's so here we are with this like uh, ridiculously, insanely cold weather. I know I'm not the only one suffering from that, but you know, it's really bad. And usually there's only a few days of an entire winter that are as bad as it's been the last few days in a row. So that coupled with a toe that might actually be broken, I don't think it is, but both the urgent care nurse practitioner as well as my regular primary care both think that it might be, but they didn't think it was necessary to have it x-rayed because regardless it would be the same healing process and same protocol. So lucky me, I get to take all kinds of antibiotics, which I don't do well with, but I don't know, maybe that'll keep me from getting the COVID. I don't know. Anyway, it's just an utter freaking mess at my house and in my life, and I hate not being able to make my videos. I wasn't able to make one yesterday. I'm feeling like halfway prepared for this one today, but I'm just going to go ahead and do it because I love you guys. And anybody who wants to criticize me in my comment section, like, what are you talking about anyway? Who's making you watch my video? Okay. Like, just get a life, go away, get a grip, get a brain. Yeah, you got my attention, and obviously that's what you wanted. Should I give you some shout outs by name? I wrote you biatches down. I did. I wrote you down, but should I give you an actual shout out, or do you not deserve it? I don't think you deserve it. Um, so let's get out the notes anyway. I was actually going to give them shout outs, but they are so ridiculous. Rat bastards. Anyway, I like to focus on the positive. CB and Annie Ruler and Sherry, you guys rock. Hello from San Felipe. Good morning. Figured something happened at home because we didn't see you yesterday. I know there was no way I was going to be able to get on yesterday. You know, everybody had no school because of the weather, and I got to work from home, which meant that I didn't get much done. And hi from Walmart Auto. Oh, I'm glad you're getting your car fixed, Mark. So let me go ahead and do my little thing. Mark, I was trying to watch your live from last night, and you were like my bedtime story. I fell asleep with it going, but I missed most of it, so I'm going to have to rewatch. There have been a lot of really good videos coming out. Have you guys seen Larissa Slaughter's half-hour funny, brilliant video about the dumpster fire a troll? Like, I thought, okay, we can like quit talking about her, right? No, we can't. She's crossed over the line in so many disgusting, dirty, rat bastard ways. For her to say some of the crap that she said, is bad enough. But for her to go there with our dear friend Mark Meeker, who passed away, she needs to go back from under the rock from which she came. Please hit that thumbs up button if you'd be so kind. Let's just get on with it. Everything I say is simply my opinion for the sake of starting a conversation, always hoping to open up a discussion and to be educational and to learn something and to grow and change and make the world a better place. A safer place, and all my videos to date have been made for YouTube. It's an entertainment platform. So those of us that are content creators know how much it takes to start a channel. I mean, you have to have some know-how, you have to have some money. I mean, honestly, I feel like you have to be privileged to have the equipment, the time, the education, the confidence. I feel very privileged. I've always felt very privileged to have my own channel. And, you know, I will do everything I can to make it as good as I can, as high quality as I can. I'm one person and I can only do so much. So if it's not someone's cup of tea, I'm not going to be insulted. There's a million freaking channels to watch. So go watch a different one. Please find something you like, find something that inspires you. So we have a nice little crew and I appreciate you guys so much. Like without that, it would be a very mediocre experience. Having your regular viewers, having your regular mods, having your regular people, you know, your posse. It doesn't get any better than that. So I appreciate you guys very much. I very much don't appreciate the trolls. I try to, though, because they do make your numbers go up. And also they can give you food for thought at times. They can actually inspire you at times. But, you know, for the most part, it's just really negative, in my opinion. So my last video, I was talking a lot about Michael Rourke, the DA from Colorado. I got really sick really fast of talking about him and his crap. He fouled up that Watts case so bad, and he knows it. And now he's got his wife out there on the streets of YouTube striking really top quality channels like Paula Plunder and Behind Criminal Minds for things they didn't do. So I hope she gets her comeuppance. I hope she gets served her arse, because you don't go around giving false accusations of copyright strikes that are non-existent. Right, Mark? I mean, I've only had to copyright strike a person one time, and YouTube gave me lip and was like, well, you need to confront them individually yourself before you come to us. And I was like, you know what? Like, they're not even worth the time of day. So whatever. And you guys know who that is. I finally addressed it in my videos an entire year later. But anyway, I thought it was really odd that YouTube wasn't just going to do what you think they do, because they act like they're such hard asses with the whole copyright strike thing. And they are, if you're Michael Rourke DA's wife. Like, I don't think Behind Criminal Minds or Paula Plunder, I don't think they even got to respond. I don't think that content creator went to them first and asked them to take it down, because they probably would have, rather than risk getting a copyright strike. Because it's my understanding that you're only allowed three standing copyright strikes, and then your channel's gone. So it's pretty ridiculous. Okay, I'm going to calm down. I'm dreaming of palm trees and sunshine. It's not groundbreaking. What's not groundbreaking, Mark? Oh, your video? Well, I think that you're always downplaying how brilliant you are. So I'll be the judge of that. To V Caudill, it's been a while. Hello. Nice to see you. Very, very nice to see you. Let's see. I'm going to highlight that one. And Anna Bean says, hi, Jazz and chat. Hope everyone's having a good day. Lurking again, Ninja. You are the bomb. You have been pumping out some incredible incredibly brilliant videos too. You and Larissa and Divine Justice, aka Mrs. G, the Honey Badger, and the other ones that I always forget to mention their names. Like I just have that brain block. Mark, Shan, Ara. I'm just so grateful for the Squirrel Squad. And I just think it's so pathetic, people that are like Squirrel Squad wannabes, because if you really wanted to be in the Squirrel Squad, all you have to do is be forthright and honest and you're in, right? I mean, seriously, there's no like favoritism or I don't know, popularity contest. I guess that's what it comes down to, right? Okay. CB, my pipes are frozen since Monday. Oh, yeah, I always leave my water dripping slightly when it's this cold, when it's single digits. No strikes are striking here. Bring it. Yeah, I've never had a strike because I don't show clips. I guess reading people's stuff can give you a strike too, which I didn't know. I know that from Mist and Things, that new channel that I've shared with you guys that I love so much. So I want to talk about Maui. I want to talk about Kylie. I want to talk about Idaho 4 and maybe a little bit of Watts too. But I also want to stay focused and talk about you guys, because you guys are what bring me back, right? I just, like I said, I skip one day and I'm like, I can't go another hour without coming on live. So thanks for being here, you guys. Yes, my video not newsworthy. Well, like I said, I will be the judge of that, Mr. Mark. Been there before, not fun. Who is that? BoobTube TV. They have some good stuff. Thank you, CB. Anna Bean, thank you for saying that, because yeah, they have been kicking some butt. I really admire them for the work that they're doing. I'm really glad you brought them up. And yeah, if you guys don't know the Boob TV channel, check it out. I will link it, of course, in the description. Okay, so let's see. The whole situation with the dumpster fire, a troll, is such a freaking hot mess. And how sad that she makes such a joke of a deceased teenager. How sad that she makes such a joke of herself. But you know what? I don't really have much compassion for her at all. Not at all. And Larissa, man, that girl is talented. She put together a top-notch like production. Really, really impressive. I'm going to definitely be linking that in the description when I get a chance. So I guess I want to talk about Cumer Green a little bit before getting into Maui and going back to Kylie, because I'm trying to find out more about him. I have found out a lot. I'm going to read to you guys a little bit on my phone if I can find it. But he has 2 kids. He has a son and a daughter. I'm pretty sure that his son was a student at the University of Idaho and just graduated this last year, but it's hard to find anything on his kids online. He's one of 5 kids. His father died in 2001, and he's named after his father. He's 3rd generation University of Idaho alumni. I think his son and maybe his daughter too. I'm not sure where his daughter went to school, but I would imagine the alma mater of her great grandfather and her grandfather. And actually I said great grandfather, I think. Yeah. So Scott's Cumer Green, the president, his grandfather, I believe, graduated from the University of Idaho. I'll have to check my sources again, but what I'm reading to you might have it in there. But he was like the athletic director, you guys. Have you been keeping up with all this athletic department stuff, like with Bubbly Waters? It's pretty interesting. So let me read to you guys some crazy stuff that I found. Is this it right here? Yeah, this is just out of like a newspaper article. I'm just going to read a blurb. A deed filed with the county shows Cumer L. Green and Sandra L. Green bought the property at 1122 King Road on June 20th, 1967. So that's the president's parents. June 20th, 1967. He was 5. A 2001 obituary for Cumer Green shows he graduated from the University of Iowa, Idaho, in 1963, then got his law degree from the school in 1969. The family moved to Boise in 1969, and the Greens later divorced. The divorce judgment lists the mortgage on the King Road property at $11,500. That was back when they got their divorce, obviously, in 69. $11,500. Further deeds available through the Latah County Assessor's Office show that Green sold the King Road property in 1973. So the family owned it for 6 years, but the school, the University of Idaho, and the president were not forthcoming with that information until the day after it was knocked down. That's weird. That's weird. The house has gone through multiple renovations and remodels in the decades since. When 4 News Now asked why this wasn't shared earlier, a spokesperson said, "We did talk about it briefly early when the president became aware his dad had owned it, but we did not feel a property he sold 50 years ago was highly relevant now." Well, yeah, when 4 people are slaughtered there, I'd say that it might just be a tiny tad scotch relevant now. Green is a graduate of U of I who went on to earn his MBA from Harvard Business School. In an interview with the U of I Argonaut upon his hiring, Green remembered running around Memorial Gym at the U of I with his grandfather, who was the athletic director at the time. Who knew? So I don't know that his grandfather went to school there, but that would be my guess. So in the event that one or both of his children went to school there, that would be 4th generation. Wow. Anywho, so he was about 11 when his parents sold it. In what year was that? 1973. And the story is that they owned several properties and that he did not actually grow up there. That's disinformation or misinformation. It's disinformation if people are spreading it intentionally. It's misinformation if it's being spread unintentionally as false, fake news, right? Did I say that right? If it's intentionally being spread as fake news, that's disinformation. If it's unintentionally being spread as it's just incorrect information, then that's misinformation. I mean, we all know the definition of misinformation, but this whole thing with disinformation is a newer phenomena with social media and now with artificial intelligence. There's so much of it. So I think that the way they're downplaying the fact that the family owned that property for 6 years is not cool. I really think that that is suspicious. Why not just say, yeah, my family owned it? So rather than saying, well, it's not very relevant. It's like, no, the other addresses of their other properties, I'd agree, not so relevant. But that one where the most heinous, violent, fatal slaughter occurred. And then Mr. Cumer Scott Green wrote a book, How to Help Your University Go Through a Crisis or something like that, published this last December 7th. And apparently, allegedly, he was already writing the book about COVID and another crisis that the school had went through. Maybe the crisis with all of the people that got canned or quit or got fired, doesn't really matter. All the scandal, all the assaults, all of the very unsafe and unsavory things that had happened on that campus that were not properly addressed, in my humble opinion. So this new president comes in and cleans everything up and brings them out of financial crisis which is really curious. You know, he started in 2019. COVID happened in 2020. He brought them out of financial crisis, and he made himself $1 billion over the last 4 years. It's a head scratcher, is it not? Makes you think. So, what else do I want to say about that? Oh, here's the people that I want to give a shout out to for being pigs. Like, get off of my freaking channel, Miss D Bus and Barbara Dawson 365. If you're here, just get lost, okay? Barbara Dawson 365 and Miss D Bus both came into the comment section from like 11 or 12 days ago, 2 weeks ago, basically, and said, "What's this video about anyway?" Which is hilarious because it's very straightforward. It's the one that I titled something like, did the criminal defendant work for a medical distribution company or a medical courier? Remember that? Did Kohberger work as a legit medical courier during the time of this horrible tragedy? So the fact that these two Nimrods I've never seen before come in and try to act like, you know, they're going to get me feeling all insecure, like I don't know what I'm talking about, makes me wonder, am I onto something with that? Because, you know, it was just a thought. It was just a wild and crazy thought. But, you know, I have a lot of those. Some I share with you guys, some I don't. There's only so much time to do the video. Let me share some of the wild ideas that I've had that seem appropriate to share. Okay, I'm going to read something to you that I just sent to a couple of my mods. And what was it? Here we go. This, okay? This is about Ninja Chihuahua's newest video. And I said, Ninja's newest video just made me think of something. The reason they had to pretend that NOT-KIELY was Kylie, you know, the last proof of life photograph, could that be because NOT-KIELY was driving the CRV and only put $2 worth of gas in it just to get it to where they wanted to ditch it? I never thought of that. Okay, so thank you, Ninja, for your brilliant video, and I will link that in the description. But watching that video, all of a sudden I thought, oh, is that why they had to pretend that that was Kylie in that photograph? Because it never made sense to me. Why would they want to pretend that that's Kylie if it's not? And I'm not 100% sure that it's not, but I don't think it is. But it would make sense that they had to pretend that it was her if that person was driving her CRV to that gas station and getting out of that CRV. It was Mark Molina who brought up, don't they have surveillance cameras outside? Yeah, maybe they do. Maybe they have NOT-KIELY on surveillance driving Kylie's video and getting out of it. And according to SF Investigates, putting $2 worth of gas in the tank? Was it $2 or was it 2 gallons? Either way, neither here nor there. Were they not wanting to waste money and they were just putting enough gas in the tank to ditch the car? And that was it. They weren't going to invest another $1 or $5 in gas that was going to go unused in their covering up of a 16-year-old's fatality. Wow, you guys, are you with me? Are you with me? Like, these are the kinds of wild and crazy thoughts that I have that I have to jot them down. If I don't jot them down, they're gone. No matter how profound I might think they are, no matter how much I think, well, I certainly won't forget that because that's just something very memorable. But no, had I not texted it to a couple of my mods, I would have completely forgotten it because I don't always have a pen and paper with me to write. Or if I'm driving, you know, I can dictate into my phone, but a lot of times I'll just pull over because I don't want to take any chances when I'm driving. So mom first, always hello, Lisa and CB. Just watched your last live and sorry, my eyeballs all itchy. Um, whoa, that makes sense. The thing about the Kylie, not Kylie. So I was arguing with Shan and that whole crew of people, Mark and Kenny, Ara, that thought that that photograph was not Kylie. I was like, yeah, it's Kylie. It just looks like scammy. And then I started to think it looks a lot like scammy. And you know, the thing on her chest, I'm still not convinced that that's the tattoo on her chest. I still think that that could be a shadow, but it could be that they turned the tattoo into a shadow because we know that that photo was photoshopped. And it would make sense why they're not showing us the full video. It would make sense why they're not telling us the full story because I'm thinking that they had to pretend that that not Kylie photo, the last proof of life, was Kylie because not Kylie was driving Kylie's freaking CRV, which would also explain all the secrecy around Scammy's transportation to and from the party, right? That would explain a lot. So I need to take a deep breath. I'm getting dizzy. This is freaking too much. Like this whole freaking YouTube true crime crap and all my lights falling down, it just gets to be too much sometimes, doesn't it? Hold on a second. I know the lights don't really matter, but I do love the backlight. I just don't like gravity. Let's see if that'll stay. I won't sweat it if it keeps falling. Since that's the second time, let's just do our om. So I might actually start doing some yoga with you guys. Let me know if you want me to, because I'm thinking I need it. I need to start videotaping myself teaching because teaching is just a whole new thing that I'm not used to. But if you guys want to do like a live yoga class, if you guys want to be my guinea pigs, I think I'm down with it because I need the practice. So let's do it if you want. I'm totally serious. Like maybe tomorrow I promise I will be more centered and focused. I will know what I'm talking about, but you might not know if you're a troll that's trying to be mean and stupid. So I'll tell you guys some of my favorite yoga moves and get into all that stuff. But what else did we want to talk about today? We wanted to talk about Maui. Brush Junkies dropped a couple of new ones, and I'm so happy. He did say $2, Anna Bean. Oh my goodness. Because yeah, when he first said that, I was like, why is he even saying that? Is he just trying to be rude to like emphasize that she was broke? But now it makes sense. He was trying to cover his bases because it was sus AF that anybody would put $2 of gas into their tank. You would only do that if you're not planning on driving anywhere. Now it makes sense. I think we just cracked the case, and I'm not even freaking kidding. Don't tell A for J, man. She will come after me. She'll start going after my house and having people tear it apart with their bare hands. Oh, man. That girl, cray cray. Anyway, I am thinking that she was sent out into the streets here of YouTube to try to bring down the credibility of any of the true crime creators that focus on Kylie Rodney, to try to bring down the credibility of the true crime genre in general. And one of the reasons that I think this is because Zanime likes to show up in her comments, apparently, you guys. I don't look at her stuff. I don't look at her comments. But somebody sent some screenshots to one of my mods of Zanime all up in her comment section. And I'm just like, okay, so they do know each other. We know that Zanime knows SF. So would that mean that this dirtbag that pretends she's from Chillicothe, Ohio, and maybe she is, I don't know, don't care. Does that mean that she's connected directly or indirectly to SF? Because she certainly seems like she's connected directly or indirectly to MC Ultra. $2. Yeah, I was really upset that he was sharing that because I thought he was just trying to be a classist about it and say, well, she's such a poor girl. She only had $2 to put in her tank. Like, who in the world puts $2 into their gas tank in this day and age when gasoline 3 summers ago, or what was that? Just a year and a half ago. I was thinking COVID. A year and a half ago when this happened, gasoline was probably $4 a gallon in Ohio. It was probably $8 or $9 a gallon there in Truckee. So what? A quarter of a gallon in a CRV, that would take you about 5 miles. So they only needed to go 5 miles. Interesting. SF said it was KR card used, but that I don't believe a word he says. And yes, cameras outside. And it doesn't matter if her card was used. That doesn't mean that she was the one using it. That could have been any scumbag that identity thefted. And let's just say for a second that it was scammy. Not only could she get charged with a shit ton of crimes, but you can throw identity theft on top. Oh, disgusting. You are right on. Anna Bean, you're so nice. Like, I double dog dare these trolls to come back and say, what are you talking about anyway? It's like, well, I'm talking about how guilty scamming might be of whatever it was that happened to Kylie. And I'm also talking about how guilty the University of Idaho might be in what happened to those 4 students. And I'm also talking, might as well just go the whole 9 yards. I'm also talking about how guilty the government and public administrators might be in the Maui massacre on August 8th. So let me take a deep breath and stay caught up with you guys. So Scammy changed clothes. Hey, Ranch Boss. Hey, Joy B. Nice to see you guys. Thanks for coming by. Yes, it is getting wilder every day. That is cool, Jazz. Oh, what's cool, Anna Bean? What did I miss? One sec. Good morning. Did someone say yoga? I'm in. Yeah, I've been loving my yoga. It's hard sometimes to get your mind wrapped around it, but then once you do, it's just awesome. And it's really important to me to take it easy and to make it easy on myself and to make it easy on other people so that it's something really positive and you're not going to feel intimidated or inferior in any way, shape, or form, because that is not what it's about. And it doesn't matter how flexible you are. It doesn't matter how good a shape you're in. It doesn't matter what you look like. It doesn't matter if you have bad balance. It doesn't matter. None of that. Just do what you can just to feel good in your body and to take care of yourself. That's all it is. Take it easy, Jazz. We agree with you. That is such a good point. And YSF would say it too. Makes a lot of sense. $2 a gas. Take it easy. I know, I'm like hyperventilating. I mean, I've just been so fired up with dealing with all the chaos and stress in, what's going on with family members having tested positive for COVID and very symptomatic too, like no fun at all. And then me with my owie toe. You guys know the little kid's story about the very Alexander and the horrible, horrible day. And he's like, and my toe hurts. No, and I hurt my foot. I felt like that since Friday. And I hurt my foot. Oh, man. Too much. Too much. Miss W. Hello, hello. Yes, we don't want Scammy. We don't know what Scammy was wearing. We have not seen pics of that night. Oh my goodness. CB, you guys take note. That's brilliant. We've never known what Scammy was wearing that night. We've never seen pictures of her from that night. Is that why? Is that why? We know she has that exact same outfit because we've all seen the videotape or photographs of her at Boca in that black spaghetti strap tank thing and the green Dickies and the grommet belt. And then we've seen the picture that Jägermeister posted on his social media of Kylie wearing a black spaghetti strap tank top type of shirt that has lace on it that's very different, and different types of belt and pants are slightly different, right? Oh, very, very good comment, CB. This is why we like to crowdsource our thoughts, right? Our brain leaks. Man, I just found out that Armchair Detective got taken off of YouTube. Wow. So whether people are a fan of his or not is immaterial to me. Personally, I've gone back and forth. I liked him and then I quit liking him, and I like him. I do. I don't like everything he says and does, but I like him. But what's more important is that he's being censored. And what's even more important is that I'm suspicious that the DA Rourke and the people that are protecting NK are the ones who got him taken down. I mean, there's a lot of serious trolls with a mission and serious trolls with a purpose out on the streets of YouTube to protect NK. I'm 100% convinced. I don't think that's any kind of paranoia or conspiracy theory. I think that that was abundantly clear when it first started happening years ago. And I wasn't even on YouTube back then, but I've heard a lot of people that were talk about it. And at first they thought, yeah, right, as if these officials would have time for YouTube, as if these people would care about YouTube. Lo and behold, they found out that, yeah, they did. Yeah, they did. I mean, one thing you have to understand about narcissists, and every criminal is a narcissist, is that they're very, very obsessed with what other people think about them. And they're very fixated on getting your approval. So not only do they want your attention, they want your approval. They'll take your attention even if it's not positive, if it's negative attention, because even if that's not exactly approval, it's still an acknowledgement that they exist. And the very foundation of a narcissist personality disorder is that there's this abandonment issue, that they feel like they don't exist unless they know that you see them. I won't go on and on about that, but you guys know what I'm talking about. Let's see. And oh no, we will protect you, Mom first, always. You know what? I don't say this a lot, but you know, my husband's in law enforcement. I'm not worried about it. We have cameras all over our house. We're well fortified. Trust me. I'm not worried about it in the least. Like, bring it. Go ahead. I double dog dare you, because we'll have you on videotape and you will be toast. You won't survive it. I mean, you know, castle laws and all that. Go ahead, send your minions, send your trolls. See if I care. Yeah, I did let that cat out of the bag, didn't I? And there's reasons I don't bring it up. It's just because I don't want people to think like, oh, well, I think I know so much because of that. Because no, I don't think I know so much because of that. I think I know some things because of who I am and what I've always done with my thought process ever since I was a little kid. I've had people say to me, oh, well, you just think that way because your husband's in law enforcement. I'm like, no, you don't know us. Like, my husband's in law enforcement because I think that way. He only got into law enforcement later in life, but that's not what's important, because that by itself doesn't mean that I know anything. I mean, just because somebody's in law enforcement, it doesn't mean that they're good at their job. It doesn't mean that they know how to do their job. It doesn't mean that they know the law. It doesn't mean that they know how to apply the law. It doesn't mean that they know how to explain the law. So much of law enforcement is a craft, just like anything else. It's a creative process. You have to take that information in. You have to process it. You have to disseminate it. You have to think, how does it apply here? You need to think outside the box. Is this a case where I want to exercise flexibility and, you know, give second chances depending on the situation? Or is this a situation where there's no possibility of a second chance? I mean, there's a lot you have to weigh out. And that's not just on an officer by officer basis, that's how the law takes every single court case. It's like, what's this person's history? If it's their first offense, they are treated differently than if it's their 20th offense. We all know this. But again, I don't want to go on because the main reason I don't talk about that is because I don't want anybody to think that I'm like, oh, well, I'm married to the law, so I know crap. It's like, no, I know crap from my own life experience before I ever met my husband. And when I met my husband, he had no interest in becoming an officer. He got interested in it because he was a scientist for the Department of Fish and Wildlife. He was a biologist in Washington State, and he wanted to be Yogi Bear. He wanted to be a forest ranger. And they wanted him to be a forest ranger, but he had to have more hardcore law enforcement experience. And that's how he discovered kind of later in life that he had a real passion for it. And it's not because he's a power tripper and wants to tell people what to do. Most of being a good peace officer is keeping the peace. And in his words, you're like 95% social worker. So I'll just leave it at that. Enough about my husband. Okay, this is about you and me and Kylie and the Idaho 4 and the victims of the Maui fire and everybody else who gets screwed over by our justice system and by trolls. The trolls can just bite me. That's why I'm all fired up. But a lot of times that fire in the belly just really gets you going, and it can turn into a positive thing. That's why I try to just let it roll. I don't just delete their comments. I'm like, I'll leave your comment hanging, depending. Consider yourself warned once I've seen it, because, I don't always go back and look at the comments. I try to in the first day or two, but a lot of times I'm just moving too quickly to go back and see them after that. So I do try to read everything in the first day or two and respond. And that I read it because I put a like on it and I also put a heart on it. So even if I don't necessarily love the comment, I almost always put that heart because only the content creator can put the heart, for anyone who doesn't know that. It doesn't mean I love the comment. It just means I read the comment and I'm letting everybody know that. Okay. Once in a while, like in the case of these two trolls from 12 days ago, I put the down thumb, not the like, and I definitely didn't put the heart on their stupid comments. And I responded and said, basically, get a life, Anyway, enough about that. Let's focus on the positive. Good point about not putting much gas in it. I'm sure I'm way behind. Yeah, I'm like 10 minutes behind. I'm going to speed read. Ecology didn't want gas leakage in drinking water. Annie Ruler, but yet they wanted to drink her DNA. I mean, that's, I think, what freaked us all out when we realized that she was in there and that they were drinking her freaking DNA. And I think that's what made a lot of people wonder if that was not only tolerated, but desired. Freaking gross. The yoga is good for everything. Yeah, and a lot of yoga is just meditation. It doesn't have to be the calisthenics. It's really whatever works for you and what your mood is, and but it is good to push yourself. If we don't push ourselves, we don't improve. So it's important to have that balance, to take it easy, to meet yourself where you're at, and then to work it, baby. Your poor little piggy went wee. That's funny, Miss W. Thank you for that. I love it. So yeah, it was my big toe and the one right next to it. And they both kind of got the skin sheared off the top. And I won't go into great detail, but it's been oozing. So you still can't really think about it and eat at the same time. It's pretty bad. But I don't think it's as bad as it could have been. Good call on scammy clothing. This is such a great live. Oh, Anna Bean, you're so nice. I thought this is going to be a lousy one because I'm so scattered and unprepared, but I just need to get on screen because I really like to be in the habit of doing it daily because that's when I get into the groove. Skipping a single day is upsetting to me because I miss you guys. I miss this. And if I miss one day, then I'm like, I might not ever get back to it. Like, seriously. And wouldn't that be sad to give the MF trolls what they want, which is to get rid of me? And why would they want to get rid of me? If I was just some bobblehead up here not making any sense, why would they give a damn? Why would they even freaking care, right? Thanks. Thank you for saying that, even if it's not true. We'll just go with that. We'll just pretend that it is. Great day, Justice. I hope your whole day is wonderful. Hey, Kathleen, nice to see you. That's a very nice comment, and I'm speed reading. Greetings, everyone. Jazz Sunset, yay! And Mrs. Amir, yay! Has everyone hit that like button? Please hit that thumbs up if you'd be so kind. Oh, and don't forget to share the video. Make sure you're still subscribed if you are subscribed. And if you're not subscribed, please consider doing so. It doesn't cost you anything except a second of your time, and it's really good for the algorithm. And yeah, my algorithm ain't so good, but I don't care. At least I have an algorithm, right? Like, that's really all that matters to me. Although I am sick of the whole shadow banning thing. I mean, it's just annoying. It is. But at the same time, I like having a small channel. It makes me feel real calm about it. I don't feel a lot of pressure. I don't feel like I need to do a show. Don't need to be fancy. Can just, be myself and connect with you guys. So, losing minute in a power, can't read. Losing power in a minute. Love you all. So that's Mrs. Amir because she's in South Africa and they do that blackout waves routinely. Jenny Pooh says, hey guys, just jumping in, Jazz mods and chat. Oof. I totally want to join in your yoga premiere. So let's try to do a yoga premiere tomorrow. I'll see what I can do. I can run through what I have right now at the end of this. We're at 47 minutes. Let me get caught up with you guys. Make sure I've said everything I want to say about Idaho, Kylie, and Maui, and then maybe run through what I've got. Because what I've been doing is I've been building a master class. So I can explain what that is too. Let's see. Because, yeah, it is cool. It is fun. Sunset, yes, 8 your 127. So that means 8 your soul. And that was Kylie's license plate. And if that's the license plate that was on the car when it pulled up to get the $2 of gas, and then it was not Kylie that got out of the car, for all we know, she was already in the boot of the car, and you can even see that on the freaking tape, and that's why it doesn't exist. Illuminati is consuming human flesh and blood. That's their thing. I mean, again, think of the Donner Party. Think of the way this whole town of Truckee idolizes the Donner tragedy. It really makes me sick. Why is the 127 means soul on the license plate? Anna Bean, really good question. So yeah, I had no idea. When I first saw it, I thought it was weird that it said 8 your. I had no idea that 127 meant anything. But if you Google those 3 numbers, 127, it'll tell you the answer to that question, Anna Bean. It's pretty weird, huh? Home with a sick kiddo today and finally catching another live. Elise, nice to see you. You fit right in with my coffee. Oh, Miss W, I love it. Good. Did you see Brush Junkie's last 2 videos? I haven't seen them yet. I've just been so freaking slammed busy because those are top priority. I'm going to get on those as soon as we wrap up here this afternoon. Yes, please, on the yoga. And Elise, I hope the recovers soon. Yes, your child. Yeah. Sick family members. Being sick is just no fun. Being injured is no fun. Having our health is such a gift. Such a gift. I do not take it for granted. I've had health conditions. I had gestational diabetes with 2 of my 4 pregnancies. I've had other health challenges, and I do not ever take my health for granted. Even when I'm not enjoying the yoga, I just enjoy that I can do it. I just try to be grateful for every little stretch that I can do, even if there's a lot of them that I can't do, because I'm not in my best yoga condition these days. And that's okay. That's what's so cool about yoga. It's just like everything else in life. Just meet yourself where you're at. If you're not going to do that, you're not going to get met. So we have to meet ourselves where we're at. We have to allow others to meet us where we're at and not be embarrassed about it and not judge ourselves, not judge other people. Meet people where they're at. It's so simple. Okay, so let's see. Note. I dropped one of my notebooks. I'm not going to worry about it because it's all the way there on the floor. I was going to tell you guys some of my favorite yoga positions after I make sure that I've covered the things that I wanted to cover about the University of Idaho, NOT-KIELY, and Maui. It seems as though there are, I think the title of one of Brush Junkie's videos was something about an affidavit for Governor Green. Is that the right official, or was it for the Mayor Bisson, however you say his name? So it's important to remember that Governor Green and the mayor were only in those positions for roughly 6 months before this happened, maybe 8 months before the fires on August 8th. Also, that the police chief, Pelletier, he'd only been in that position for a year and a half. So he started a year before they started. So he was appointed, right? He was selected by a search team, by a little committee type of thing. That's the way his position was filled. The mayor and the governor were elected. So also important to remember. But I was kind of shocked and horrified to find out that the mayor and the governor were brand new in there. I didn't know that. I really had no idea. I knew that the police chief hadn't been in that position that long. So he was hired in November of 21. He was sworn in December of 2021. And then it was February of 2022 that his assistant died in that suspicious car accident. And she'd been an employee of the police department for 30 years. So she was very well respected and an integral part of keeping things going. And then she's gone and he's there. And then a year later, they've got a brand new mayor and a brand new governor. And also remember that Josh Green, who just happens to have the same last name as Scott Green over there in Moscow. Oh, that means they're related, doesn't it? Because that's not a common name, Green, right? Anyway, Josh Green is a physician. He's a medical doctor, which I find interesting as a governor, as a politician. It's not unheard of. It's just not very common. So anyway, the University of Idaho is, to me, an utter and complete sham. And I still can't get over how many people just go with hanging their hat on the criminal defendant being guilty simply because he's arrested. A lot of people get arrested that aren't guilty. And a lot of people that are guilty never get arrested. And this is why we have due process. And to pretend that someone is guilty simply because they're arrested, simply because it looks like they might be guilty, is extremely stupid, to put it bluntly. Okay? So Kiely Rodni I just can't believe how atrocious. I didn't say that word very well, did I? I'll try it again. I can't believe how atrocious people get in talking about a deceased child. And then they want to call her a young woman, a young adult, and then they want to call the 18-year-olds that were around when she met her demise, they want to call them kids. No, they're 18 and over. They're not kids. They are young adults. She's under 18. She was under 18. She never made it to 17. She was a child. She was an absolute child by law and definition. So quit calling her a young adult. Quit calling the young adults that know what happened to her at the very least and might have had something to do with it. Quit calling them kids, because they're not kids. They absolutely are not kids. And if they were 16 then when it happened, maybe they were a kid then. But if they're 18 now, then they're not a kid anymore. And we all know that people that are under the age of 18 can be tried as adults. It's just horrible. Like, why would people want to keep that hidden? Why would anybody want to not find the truth for Ms. Kiely? Give me an effing break. The gaslighting. Okay. I think I covered it all. I'm going to catch up, and then I'm going to talk some yoga. Get my Zen on with you guys for the first time ever. Don't tell anybody. We don't need any yoga trolls here. Yoga trolls. That's a good one, huh? It's like Tootsie Rolls, yoga trolls. Let's see. Where are we? When they pull these stunts off, do they graduate to a different level in their new world? I know we do not know. Annie Ruler, I think the answer is in the question. And yeah, I'm really glad that you asked that question, because I believe that that's a part of it. And I believe that what didn't look like a celebration of life for Ms. Kiely Rodni wasn't a celebration of life for Ms. Kiely Rodni. That was more like the debutante's ball for some other scum of the earth in a white mini dress that was so short, and I just wonder if she had anything on under it. Disgusting. Whether she did or not, she's disgusting. Sad that there is cover up worldwide. 2 hours for a battery. Oh, Mark, getting your car fixed. I thought you were talking about Kylie's car. I was like, wait, what? Still at Walmart waiting. A battery. Yeah, you and Kylie with your dead batteries, huh? You need to get, what's his name out there? You know, the dude, Nick G. You need a yacht boy. That's what you need. Week, 2 week in the cold. Ooh, yeah, I know. And for anybody who doesn't already know this for themselves, the way I make sure that I'm well clothed when I'm out and about. So even if I'm driving in a car with good heating, I make sure that I have on at least one pair of long underwear. I make sure that I have gloves, hat, and scarf, and jacket. I try to make myself dressed warm enough that if I were to get in an accident and be exposed to the elements, if it took an hour or two for help to arrive, I might survive. So that's, I just think, a really good thing to keep in mind. Not that I'm going to get Karen Silkwooded or nothing, right? But that's just always how I've been. Always. First question, who benefits the most by Kiely passing away? Sunset, super good question. So anybody who was in competition with her and anybody who might have life insurance. I'm okay. Not a health issue. I'm blessed. Yay. You guys stink. I'm a troll at Walmart Auto. Oh, that's hilarious. I love it. You guys think I'm a troll, or are you trying to tell us that we stink because you're trolling us from Walmart Auto, Mark? I gotta highlight that. That's too funny. Okay. I'm catching up, and then I'm going to tell you some of my favorite yoga poses and shapes. It's been cola as heck, huh? Um, Sacrificial ceremony for KR Memorial. Yeah, Annie Ruler. I'll never forget that purple and black spray painted flag that just looked so what's the word? Atanic, but starts with the same letter that snake starts with. Um, yeah, that purple and black flag with the black spray paint. Ugh. I think it was a purple flag with black spray paint. And I had to stare at it for a long time before I realized that it was the silhouette of her out there on the pier, you know, the nice famous photo where she just looks so freaking amazing. That they made that silhouette, spray painted it onto a purple flag for her memorial. I think that that was a tannic thing that starts with the same letter as a snake. Anyway, Nick, come help me. Mark, you're too funny. You don't want his help. I mean, look what happened to our dear Ms. Kylie. Be prepared. Yes, it's like the Boy Scouts. Always be prepared. I do that too. Anna Bean. Well, I'm so glad because sometimes people act like I'm all like goody two shoes or something. And it's like, no, that's just common sense. Give me a break. Like you can seriously freeze to death easily in 7-degree weather. Easily. And it happens, hypothermia happens way quicker than anybody has any knowledge of. I mean, it's serious and it's deadly. Always wear clean underwear. Jenny Poo, well, that doesn't matter what the weather's like or what time of year. But that's funny. Just because if they get dirty, they're gonna freeze. I mean, so true, Annie Ruler. And yeah, Jenny Poo. It's funny that your name is Jenny Poo and you said the thing about clean underpants, huh? Kylie, the timing, she was leaving last chance to get, or was it what she used for leverage for money to move away? Interesting, Mark. I'm fascinated by that comment. I don't know if I even understand it. I have to read it again. Kylie, the timing, she was leaving last chance to get, or was it what she used for leverage for money to move away? That's loaded. Is that the title of your next video? Because if it is, I'm there. Never understood that flag. Yeah, well, I think that it was a tannic thing that starts with the same letter as the snake, and that's what it was for. That's what its purpose was. Okay, so now we're going to get into yoga. We've hit the over an hour mark. It's safe, right? So right off the bat, one of my very favorite poses. Have you guys ever heard of this one? It's called Thread the Needle. And I'm just realizing as I say it to you how funny it is since I love to sew so much. So much. So much. That's hilarious. Thread the needle is like you're on your hands and knees like a tabletop, and then you take one hand and you reach it up behind you towards the sky, and then you push it through your other arm. So like this hand is on the floor, and then the back of this hand is on the floor, and it just stretches your back. So I really like any of the stretches that are like twists. There's a lot of twists in yoga. And I love them. I think I told you guys a few days ago about eagle arms, which is like this, and how good it feels. You can try it. It's hard to see when I'm wearing black, which I'm usually wearing. So you just put one elbow over under the other, and then your hands like so. And then if you reach up, it stretches out your back, and it feels wonderful. And a lot of yoga you can do sitting down. So they have something called chair yoga for people who have issues with balance or in a wheelchair or just, have trouble with yoga. You can do chair yoga. There's a lot of positions that you can do sitting on the ground, laying on the ground. The best one for true crime is probably corpse pose. So corpse pose is just what it sounds like. You're just laying on your back with your hands by your sides and you're just relaxed. That's corpse pose. And it's one of the best poses for meditating and relaxing. And then from corpse pose, you can do some really nice floor stretches like twists with your knee or a straight leg, on one side or the other. But let me stay caught up with you guys, and then I'll go over what I have for the beginning of building my master class, because that's what I'm working on. That's what I really have been focused on. Let's see. Sammy, last chance, or was it a play for cash? So you mean like fighting, like the fight club? My dad put a kit in my car, one with an old coffee can, a bottle of alcohol, a roll of toilet paper, and a lighter. Grew up in northern Michigan. Very smart, Elise. Very, very smart. Are you going to physically show us tomorrow? Yes, Mrs. W, I will. I will have my yoga mat and everything. So we can do that tomorrow. We'll do like a regular live, hopefully. Anytime I make a promise, then I fail. So let's leave it wide open. My intention is to do a regular live and then do a yoga thing separate. Maybe I'll do it in the opposite order. Maybe I'll just do one or the other. Like I said, I can't make a promise because then I don't want to not deliver. So we'll see how it goes. Corpse is my daily pose. Exactly. So mountain pose is simply standing, the same position as corpse, but just standing. So with hands by the sides. Let's see. Elise totally love that. Okay. So we'll just run down real quick while I'm sitting here what I have so far. All right. This is my practice teaching. So start by just envisioning what it is that you would like to get out of this practice teaching pretend session. So what is it that you want? And what is it that you want to let go of? Like stress. And my master class is going to start in mountain and then go to high mountain, which is, just kind of like making a rainbow with your arms, and then overhead. And then hands to heart, which is mountain again when your arms are down. And then this is another one of my favorites. This is so easy. So we can do this right here, right now. Neck stretches. So just stretching slightly. You don't want to hurt yourself. Stretch to one side and then the other. Breathing, we all know, is really important with yoga. We'll get more into that later. We're just going over stuff quickly. So we're going to do the neck stretch again just because it feels so good. You can do this with me if you'd like. You'll enjoy it if you do, I promise. Or you can just watch and go, what the heck? And then, just whatever kind of movement, rolling your neck around that feels good. Then side bends, which, we all probably did side bends with Jack LaLanne in the 70s. And you can do them laying on the ground, and you can do them standing up, and I like calling them banana bends. So side bends are great. A lot of yoga is exercising your internal organs, which is one of the reasons why it's so good for you. So after the side bends, then back to mountain, and then your eagle arms, your right over your left, and then your left over your right, and then back to mountain. And then sun salutations. Okay, sun salutations are this whole long process. So I'll walk you through it. We're going to do a whole bunch of them. So we'll kind of speed through it. So you start in your sun salutation with your mountain pose, and then your high mountain, and then forward fold, which is basically touching your toes. And then you halfway lift from touching your toes, which is really just to straighten out your back more. And then you do what's called a chaturanga, which is downward dog. Wait a second. No, it's first plank. So getting into the plank pose, and then the Sphinx pose, and then the downward dog. And then from downward dog, it's easy to get into tabletop, which is just on your hands and knees. And then when you're breathing and exercising your back, that's called cat cow. So when your back is arched, your cow. When you're hunched over like a black Halloween cat, that's the cat. So cat cow, that's what people mean when they say that. And then when you have a neutral spine, and then from there you can rise up and get into a pyramid pose, which is like your legs are like a pyramid. And then you can lift up one leg and do what's called the standing splits. So one leg lifting up behind you. And then the leg that you lifted up behind you, you try to swing it around and put it in front of you on the floor, and then get your body erect. And that's called a lunge, right? So from the lunge, you can go back to the plank, the downward dog, and then the tabletop, and then do it on the other side, the other leg. So the next sequence of the sun salutation is with the mountain, and then the high mountain, and then the forward fold, the halfway lift, the chaturanga. And I'm sorry, I'm running through these quickly. I hope you're not hurting yourself. I'll try to slow down. The chaturanga is the plank, okay? The plank, and then the Sphinx. Some people call it the cobra, or there's a couple other names for it, where you're like arching your back, and your hips and your stomach and your front of your legs are all on the ground, but you're lifting up your chest and shoulders and head. I like to call it the Sphinx, but some people call it cobra. I hate snakes, but I love Sphinx. So after the Sphinx, you do the downward dog, and then you get yourself into a high crescent lunge, into a pyramid with the legs again, and then with the pyramid doing a twist, then the standing splits again, and then reaching for the ankle, and then you repeat it on the other side. So sometimes something like reaching for the ankle is such an easy move, but if you just hang in there with it, you can really feel it working. You don't always have to push. Just breathing into a position, you'll feel different tensions release and let go, and you can move around with it. You certainly don't have to like be still, like wiggle a lot. Okay, so third sequence with your mountain pose, your high mountain, your forward fold, your halfway lift. And remember, this whole thing is called sun salutation. And then your chaturanga, which is the plank. Planks are amazing for your health. Up dog, Sphinx, and cobra. That was the other one I was forgetting. Some people call it the up dog, the Sphinx position. And then from up dog or Sphinx, you can get into down dog. Down dog was the one I was really worried about with my injured toe, but I was able to do some of this, which was exciting because I was missing it a lot. Had to get back into it after the doctor cleared me yesterday, of course. Okay. And so then your high crescent lunge, your high mountain. Oh, and then you guys know chair pose, which is just like you're standing, but then you sit in your imaginary chair and with your arms above. It's sort of like what people do when they're doing like a squat up against the wall, The chair pose is really good for you. It's one of my least favorites, but that's because I wasn't doing that right. So you really want to play around with gravity and with where your weight is. That's really important to have. Like when your hands are on the ground, to have the weight spread out, not just like on the palm of your hand, but on where your fingers meet your hand, where your thumb meets your hand. And same with your feet. A lot of times we dump our weight into the fronts of our feet or the back of our feet. And it's important to see your feet as sort of having 4 corners or 3 corners, really, like where your pinky toe meets your foot, where your big toe meets your foot, and your heel. And then the whole outside of your foot too. You want gravity, you want to feel your weight on all points of your foot. If you're just dumping your weight in one portion of your foot, you're not going to get the best effects. So where are we at? We're at an hour and 15, just about 1:30 in the afternoon. Okay, so where was I? Got all carried away with that. The high crescent lunge, the high mountain, the chair. So then right over left thigh ankle. So this is when you're standing up. And so after the chair, then you can do what's called like a one-legged chair. And you can put your, say you put your right foot over your left thigh, put your right ankle over your left thigh, and then kind of try to do a chair on just one leg. And if you have trouble balancing, just hold on to the wall or hold on to the back of a chair. There's nothing wrong with having trouble balancing, but working on your balance is key to longevity and health. Balance is so important. So the right over the left and then the other way. So you're doing the one leg chair on the other side, then mountain, high mountain, chair, and then repeating that whole sequence. So as you can tell, I have a lot of kinks to iron out. And then this is where it really falls apart because I'm ironing it out. Something called the reclined butterfly, which is laying on your back and having your knees apart and the soles of your feet together. And then the soles of your feet that are together, having them close up to your torso. So that's reclined butterfly. That's a really nice position to just rest in. And then from that, you can grab your knees, pull your knees together, grab them with your arms and hug them into your chest. It's called knee to chest compressions. And you can do that with both of your knees together. And you can also do it one knee at a time. So straighten one leg and then do the knee to chest compression on the other leg. And then this is one of my favorites, the supine twist. So whichever leg you're hugging into your chest, put that knee over on the other side of the ground and just lay like that for a minute. And then to add to your supine twist, if your knee is over on your left, if you have your right knee over on the left side of you and your right arm outstretched on the floor, just the simple movement of looking over your right hand will make the stretch go further. And then you can make the simple movement of looking the other way and get a different stretch, different movement. So we'll get more into this tomorrow. The supported reclined bridge. Some of you guys might know what a bridge pose is. It's basically like laying on your back, getting your feet up under your butt, and you can put like a support under your bottom, or you can use your hands and your elbows to push up your hips. So that's the supported reclined bridge. Legs up a wall. Do you guys know legs up a wall? That is such a good position to relax in, and it's really good for your circulation. That's just laying on the floor, get your booty up against the wall, your legs straight up, and just hang out like that for 5 minutes. It's phenomenal. And then from there, it's easy to get into a shoulder stand. You can just push off the wall with your legs. And then shoulder stands are really good for you, as is the plow. It's also like shoulder stands and plow are pretty intense, but I find doing them combined with legs up the wall is not that intense, but you still get all the excellent health benefits. So a couple others that we'll go over in greater detail tomorrow class. Reclined pigeon. It's a funny name. It's awesome. I won't describe it because it's too hard and my brain is disintegrating. So what was the other thing with the disintegrating the freaking YouTube platform? That's what I think a lot of these trolls are out to do. They're out trying to disintegrate the entire social media platform in efforts to shut people the F up, right? My brain is disintegrating, so I'm going to end with reclined cow face. Is that the best thing to end on? Reclined cow face. We will learn reclined cow face tomorrow. Okay. Thank you, class. So that's the building of the class, the beginning and the middle, and then I don't really have an end. Because what you do is you want to start with your base, you want to stretch and warm up, you want to do some hard stuff, and then you want to cool down, and then you want to close and seal your class. So it's all about being, it's all about being, right? Just being at one with yourself, being at one with someone else. What I have found in taking this course, this series of courses, is that I had not really realized this before. Yoga is a gift that you give yourself. And in learning how to be an instructor, not only am I giving myself that gift, but then I can share that gift with other people. So thank you. Let's see, where are we at? What did I miss? Corpse is my daily pose. I think that's where we left off. I'm going to highlight that one and then get caught up and then sign off, you guys. Thank you for joining me today. Totally love that. Ha 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 ha. That's all about the corpse pose. You guys are all laughing. Laugh my ass off. Envision cleansing my blood vessel vein of negativity out my toes in fingers and absorbing positive nature strength in. That's fabulous, Miss W. You guys, everybody take notes. Write that down. I love it. I might just borrow that if you don't mind. I will give you credit, Miss W. This is really good. Thank you, Jazz, for keeping us healthy. Ah, Anna Bean, that's so cute. Yeah, I was really thinking I'd keep it completely segregated, but it just seems like I need to integrate them in order to really move forward with my my yoga instruction, because I love my YouTube so much that I will sooner let the yoga instruction slide by the wayside and continue with my YouTube, which one of the things that you learn in this yoga instruction is that you do need to eliminate things out of your life that take up time to make room for new things in your life that take up time, right? And I'm not going to eliminate my freaking YouTube. I'm not going to eliminate my personal life. I'm not going to eliminate my job, although that's tempting sometimes. Anyway, back to the point, which is right? Dangle downward doggish. Yeah, there's this thing that I really like where you're leaning over. So like when you're in the mountain pose and then you fold. So you're just folded, and then you can do this with your arms. Like, can you see that? Grab your elbows and just dangle. Is that what you mean? The dangle downward doggish? I hope your toe is doing better, Jazz. It is. I was surprised. Like I said, I didn't try yoga until I was medically cleared yesterday. But I was surprised at doing a yoga class last night that it wasn't as challenging to work around the owie toe as I thought it would be. There were just a couple of things that were rough, but it was no problem. I spoke with the instructor beforehand, and and it's always, whenever you're doing any kind of yoga or anything in life, it's simply an invitation to do with it what you will. Do what works for you. Don't ever feel compelled to push yourself where you're not comfortable. Just do what works for you. It's simply an invitation. And the real invitation is to do you. You are the otter of your own fat. I like to say, the owner of your own fate. It's like an old Irish saying, but if you say it with a really thick Irish accent, it sounds like the otter of your own fat. Yes. You are welcome. Thank you, guys. Did yoga first and only time with my firstborn 19 years ago. Oh, how cool. Yeah, I did a little bit of yoga when I was pregnant with my last kid, some pregnancy yoga. I might have done some pregnancy yoga with my first kid. I expected to do a lot of like mom and baby yoga, and I just never did. You're just too busy with mom and baby, everything else under the sun, right? at a community college. It was a huge ball. That sounds like fun. I'm excited. Great idea. Jenny Pooh says, I've got to work tomorrow, so I'll watch replays and do yoga. Awesome. And I think so. My mom was always on the wall when I was little, though. When I was little, thought it was so funny. Yeah, the legs up a wall. I was teaching one of my daughters the yoga class because I have to have people be my guinea pigs and do my student teaching on them, because it really changes things to see what their body is doing and to see how you need to instruct them. It's totally different than just like thinking it through and writing it through, even though you got to do that as well. And so when we did the legs up a wall, she was like, oh yeah, this is a TikTok thing. I was like, what? So I guess it's like a TikTok phenomena, because it is so cool. The legs up a wall is such an easy exercise, if you want to call it an exercise. I mean, we all know having your legs up above your heart is really good for your body. And the legs up the wall, I think on TikTok, it's like it's sought after when people are like retaining water and maybe stressed out, that kind of thing. Had to step away and water my petting zoo. Missed a bunch. Only ones that benefit are the kids that were with her when she passed. I don't know what that means, CB. I don't know who passed. If you're speaking of your mother, I don't know. Let me read that again. Had to step away and water my petting zoo. Missed a bunch. Sunrise. Only ones that benefit are the kids that were with her when she passed. Interesting. We'll just leave it on that mystery unless you want to add anything. I'm going to go ahead and sign off, you guys. Thank you for being my guinea pigs in my mock yoga. True crime mock yoga. We didn't discuss jewelry or home decor. We did discuss lighting a little bit. For Kylie Rodney, those kids. Oh, see, I was wondering if you were talking about Kylie Rodney, but then I was like, no. Okay. So those kids are keeping their own asses out of the pen. I agree. I absolutely agree. The ones that benefit are the kids that were with her when she passed. And how many of them were there? I mean, I think that Mags knows what happened. I think that Kate knows what happened. I think that Jägermeister knows what happened. I don't know that any of them were necessarily there when it happened, but they know, in my opinion, and why they won't just tell the truth for Kylie. I mean, has somebody threatened that they will hurt them or their families if they tell? I mean, that's usually how it goes, right? The snitches get stitches. Snitches get stitches. Okay. All right, you guys, let's sign off. Peace out. Have a lovely rest of your day. I hope everybody can stay warm, dress warm, be warm. And tomorrow, wear your yoga pants if you want. And yeah, we'll figure out how to do it. Like I said, I'll probably try to do a true crime video and then end it and then do a yoga video. But I don't know. We'll just leave it wide open. You just never know until you get there, right? I mean, that's just the way true life works out. You really don't know how something is going to be until you're in it. And that's just everything in life, in my opinion. So have a lovely afternoon. Thank you. Once more, hold up the thumbs up button. There we go. Please hit that like button on the way out if you haven't hit it yet. I like to stick it right there in the corner ever so perfectly. Because, I'm a perfectionist, right? Got my OCD going on. And you guys, thanks so much for just accepting me the way I am, warts and all, because I love you and I love just not putting on a show. I love just keeping it down to earth and grounded and, human, that whole thing, that whole human thing. That's what it's all about to me. So sending you light, sending you love. take really good care of yourself. Make sure you eat your protein and your vegetables, drink your water, get some sunshine, fresh air. What else? Rest, get your Zen on, and we will see you mañana. Thanks again. Have a great afternoon.